For those of you who had the opportunity to meet, my name is Nick Coffey. I'm running for Attorney General. Born and raised in Oklahoma City, still live there today. I was at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Oklahoma City for many years as a federal prosecutor. I came in during Trump's first administration, and I served through by the Biden administration and left this past September. Look, I think being an AG requires real experience, real lawyering. I know there are people that have been involved with the legal system for a long time in this room, and there's nothing more dangerous than the justice system being in the hands of somebody that's using it for a political agenda.
Amen.
Nothing more. And the job and being a prosecutor and being the state's top prosecutor really shouldn't be a political agenda. If you're in there to apply the law and do what's best for Oklahomans, the state's going to be better off, right? And I always knew that I wanted to be a prosecutor. My granddad was the U.S. Attorney in Tulsa under John F. Kennedy. So yeah, only a few years ago, right? But he's what inspired me to get to a U.S. Attorney's office, be an actual attorney, be a real trial attorney, right? And I got to work with just super talented attorneys for many years, U.S. Attorney's office. Some of the best trial attorneys in the state. I learned an immense amount from them. And that's why it really made me mad when I looked out and saw who was running for Attorney General. And now it's only one guy, but there's a couple guys, right, that had never really been in the courtroom, had never worked with law enforcement. And Oklahoma's got a lot of problems right now, and hopefully Cyndi Munson can help fix many of them. The AG, though, has got to do his part, right? And that requires bringing real cases to keep families safe. And so I said, I'm going to get into this race. One of the most enjoyable things about this race is just talking to people in living rooms and people. Frankly, there's nothing more I like than talking to a Rotary Club and have a Republican come up after and say, I've not voted for a Democrat before, but I'm going to vote for you. And it's because I'm talking about things that Oklahomans care about: children, cost, corruption, crimes. Right? Are you going to bring lawsuits against companies that aren't keeping kids safe online? When it comes to costs, are you going to make sure that Oklahomans aren't getting, frankly, screwed at the Corporation Commission, their electricity bills going up because of data centers? Are you going to make sure insurance companies aren't taking advantage of Oklahomans? Right? These are things we haven't talked about a lot, but these are the most important things that affect Oklahomans' pocketbooks. And so they should be the things at the forefront of the AG's agenda. When it comes to organized, crime, the third C of Coffey's 4 C's. I was an organized crime prosecutor at the U.S. Attorney's Office. We could talk about it all day, but there's also a lot of other crime that I want to address as AG, right? We got civil rights violations in jails. We have the highest levels of domestic abuse, the highest levels in the nation, right? These are things that the AG should be backing local law enforcement up on. And then the last thing, corruption. That's the 4 C's, why I got into the race. We have had many instances the past few years of state officials violating the law, and there was nothing more frustrating for me as a federal prosecutor to see state officials walking away with a slap on the wrist. I know we've got a former tag agent in the room, right?
She just has
There's a current one right there. Current one too, right? Remember when Terry O'Donnell, representative at the State House, changed the law so his wife could inherit her mother's tag agency? Nothing happened to him. Right, time and time again, state officials violate the law, and nothing happens to them. And if we actually want to fix Oklahoma government, it's going to require bringing some accountability. And that's what I'm going to do as Attorney General. I'm sure you guys are all thinking, okay, that's great, but can you win? That's the question. And we'll have more official polling released soon, but a group did do some polling. And they found that head-to-head with John Echols, I was only 4 points behind. And a lot of that, it's exciting, and a lot of that is because of the type of, I don't know who's familiar with John Echols in here. She is. A lot of people aren't, though. But here's the difference. I explain my background and what I think I can bring to this race. John Echols is a former state legislator that, while serving with Leader Munson, owned a company that provided contracts to county jails. That's all he did. It's a company built on government contracts. And it's a business that's been sued 160 times for civil rights violations and bad care, and it's killed 30 people. That is the option that the Oklahomans have this year in terms of who their next Attorney General is going to be. So I can beat this guy. I can. But it's going to require a lot of support. They're going to require a lot of support of people that are independents and Republicans too. And so that's where you guys come in. Do whatever you can to spread the word. Donate your time, money, resources. yard signs. Look, help local candidates, because if we get the voting turnout, it's going to help Cyndi. So thank you guys very much. Paul, again, thank you for organizing this, and I'm looking forward to getting in a little lighter shirt and sweating through it at the rodeo. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't mean to jump in here, but thank you so much, and this will be hard to follow, but Cyndi, thank you for what you've done over the last,
11 years.
11 years.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What you've had to put up with up there.
Yeah.
It's unthinkable too. So thank you so much for fighting for us and taking the fight, and we appreciate you running for the governor too. So,
Yeah.
God bless you.
Cyndi, thank you in all your years in the St. Louis Metro for not owning a company built on.
You bet. I was coming to give you a hug.
I should have worn.
That's okay. No, I know. I'm going to be real sweaty here in a little bit, but thank you so much. Thank you, Tom. And Tom should be your state representative today, by the way. And,
Yes.
I've backed you since day one, and I'm always like, you want to run again? He's like, leave me alone. But it's been an honor to serve in the legislature. I was also going to say, I have a friend who knew me like in my early 20s before I got into politics. She's like, who's this person I see on TV now? I was like, you fight crazy long enough, and this is what you should be done. But it has been an honor to serve in the legislature for the last 11 years, 4 years as Democratic leader. So yeah, I've been up against a lot, and honestly wouldn't be here if it weren't for the support, like Nick said, of Republicans and independents. And what that means is that I have a message, we have a message and values that break through the political or partisan barrier that we so often think keeps us from running for office. So these two races, the governor and especially attorney general, and I'll just highlight the attorney general that gave a slap on the wrist to the representative is running for governor. And so you need to remember, there is no moderate on the other side. There is corruption, multimillionaires who are running for office, funding their own campaigns so they don't have to face real everyday working people. We were talking over here about how are you going to win? You know, you're out there everywhere. How are we going to overcome? And as always, people tell me I have an uphill climb. Odds are stacked against me. But the more I'm on the ground, the more I'm traveling the state of Oklahoma, especially as we get closer to the general election, there are more registered Republicans and independents, and quite frankly, people who are apathetic, who haven't been voting, who've been skipping the midterms, who have said, I'm voting for you for governor because I'm ready for change. I feel the change. I feel momentum. And it's not just about party politics. It is getting away from people who are using political power for their own gain and leaving everyday Oklahomans behind. I've been in rural communities, urban communities, east, west, north, south. What I'm so grateful for is that Oklahomans value public education. They want to protect rural health care. They want to see a governor who works with our tribes. They want to see a governor who understands what everyday working people are going through so that we'll bring jobs that actually pay everyday working people. And that makes me hopeful because I get to see that we have way more in common than we don't. And so you'll see me traveling more on the ground all over the state. I'll be in eastern Oklahoma a lot here in the next week. I'll be in Poto, I'll be in Valiant, I'll be in Durant, I'll be in Idabel, Hochatown, Broken Bow. So I'll tell all your friends, Cyndi Munson's coming to southeastern Oklahoma, and then I'll make my way back to western Oklahoma. But I am grateful that everywhere I go, people are showing up, and it means a great deal to me. I was in Muskogee this morning and had a packed house, and a very well-known Republican there that I had said I wouldn't just shout it off the rooftops quite yet. But when those types of folks are showing up, it means change is happening, and I'm very, very grateful. So it is up to all of us in this room to get out and vote. You can hope that we win, but hope gets us barely there. You got to actually go and vote. So make sure your friends and family members are voting. Give them the information that they need, and tell them now is the time for change. I think this is when it's going to happen, and you do need a Democratic governor and AG who are balancing out not fighting all the time, actually like each other. And like I said, I have served with Leader Eccles, and some challenging, questionable things have gone on there with his business. But working with the legislature that is likely going to be still Republican-led. I hope not super majority, but it'll likely still be a majority. And we have to balance it out. We've got to get focused on what everyday people need. And again, to me, that's public education. That's bringing our public tax dollars back to public schools and out of those wealthy private schools where folks can already pay for their child's tuition. And make sure we're getting that money back to our public school system, career tech, higher education, protecting Medicaid and keeping dollars here in Oklahoma and using our state dollars to protect rural health care. Because as you all know, without a quality public education, without hospitals, jobs do not come here. Families won't stay here. We got to pay for childcare. We can do it. And we can do it all by not raising taxes. It's reprioritizing where our tax dollars are going. Republicans this last legislative session set $500 million to private school vouchers, a Trump Dream accounts, and a sovereign wealth fund. That's our tax dollars that we'll never see, we'll never experience, we'll never feel what those dollars could go to protect our communities. And so just thank you for being here today. Thank you, Paula, for all your love and support over the many years, but especially in this race and bringing friends and family together. I'm excited to go to the parade and rodeo and drink your liquid IV. Make sure you have your water. But it's an honor, and I appreciate Sequoia County Democrats always for inviting me out here. And I said I hope to come back as governor-elect for the Christmas party. It's cooler out here. But thank you for your support. We have yard signs, we have buttons, we have envelopes. You know, for me and for Nick, every dollar matters, and no donation is too small. We stretch that money to keep us on the road. I tell everybody all the time, gas is expensive for you. Carter, you pumping that gas in your truck? No? Okay. Well, for us it's expensive, and it's expensive for the campaign too. So for us to stay on the ground and get our message out there, we need those dollars. Like we said, we're up against multimillionaires who can fund their own campaigns, which is undemocratic. You know, we can talk about that all day long too, but every dollar counts, no dollar is, donation is too small. So thank you for your support. Thanks for being here, and vote, vote, vote. Thank you. All right. Next thing is, I get to wear